It was very painful, like it was stinging in my brain. I didn't know what to do.
I felt I was persecuted by the voices.
People can suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder if they've been in a fire. The list is endless.
In the UK, approximately 1 in 4 people experience a mental health problem each year. Mixed anxiety and depression is the most common mental disorder in Britain, with 7.8% of people meeting criteria for diagnosis. This is the story of 2 people who have been pushed to their limit by post-traumatic stress disorder. A rape survivor may develop symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, like nightmares or intrusive thoughts, and memories may occur. They can often feel as though they are in danger or feel the need to be on guard and may distrust other people.
I was in Germany. I was married to my cousin, and he sexually abused me, assaulted me for 2.5 years. And after that, I just left him. I escaped with my son. To that time, he was like about a couple of months old. And after the abuse, I saw changes in my body, responses to different external factors like stresses. I was more aggressive all of a sudden. I pushed my son a little bit away from me because I saw in him my ex-husband, and I didn't know how to deal with that, and so I went to a psychologist.
Anger outburst, anxiety, avoidance, negative thoughts and beliefs is everyday life for people with post-traumatic stress disorder.
I had like anger, huge aggression. I had anger, and all of a sudden I got very angry, and that was the symptom to that time. Anxiety came later.
People around me had noticed there was a slight change in me, but I didn't notice it myself. So I reckon took best part of nearly 2 years before I knew for definite there was something wrong.
Post-traumatic stress disorder and symptoms of psychosis often occur together. The more PTSD symptoms, the greater the likelihood to experience positive psychotic symptoms, such as hallucinations.
People with post-traumatic stress disorder can feel perfectly normal one day, and then the next day they're frightened to face the world and they don't want to go outside, and they become very paranoid about the world around them. You know, is there anybody who looks violent? Is there anybody that looks abnormal? If, you know, that patient sees them, they cross over the road. So that has a very close relationship with psychosis.
So I can't trust people, and when I go outside, I feel like when there's like a man coming towards me, I feel like that he maybe is going to rape me, like irrational. I know that this is irrational thoughts, and I can tell that by myself, but in that moment, I just have a body response to this, to the stress factor, to this external factor that I feel, and I can't control it. I feel like intrusive thoughts comes and they say to me, oh, he's going to rape you, or this will happen, or things like that.
Jonas, who for the first time in 2 years has developed a symptom of psychosis, decided to visit the hospital.
And after a certain period, I realized I wasn't feeling well. So I decided to take myself into hospital, where I was turned away because as soon as I got there, the symptoms I was feeling somehow disappeared.
For me, there has been 2 missed opportunities that could have been intervened to stop it from developing into a full-blown psychotic episode. And therefore I think early intervention are so crucial in anybody's situation that if they are going through this problem.
The way they are on a daily basis changes from one day to the next. You never quite know what the patient is going to be like. They can be completely lucid one day and you think they're getting better, and then the next day they are hallucinating. I looked after one gentleman and he thought he was a vampire when he was in his delusions, and it is quite a difficult illness to care for.
Mental health professionals believe that the experience of psychotic symptoms should be considered as an addition to the 4 clusters of PTSD symptoms, given that psychotic symptoms commonly occur among people with PTSD.
I felt I was being persecuted by the voices. And you would cross the road without looking left or right. You were just concentrated on what you were hearing and not what was around you. And that's when I got hit by the car.
We noticed there was something wrong, but at that time we couldn't get the primary care system to really agree with us that there was something wrong. And then my brother moved to Birmingham. And the next thing we heard was a phone call from Birmingham many years later saying he's been hit by a car and that he's in an intensive care. So we went there, and then we were met by the mental health team, and that's when we were told my brother's been suffering from psychotic episode.
Oh my goodness, it is so hot in London, super.
Not knowing the severity of her situation, Zubia was back to university.
My German psychologist said, when you go to London, you have to continue this therapy. It's not, your trauma is not now ended or anything like this. You have to continue it. I forgot about it because I was with my family. There was, of course, not my ex-husband, so I felt a bit safe. I experienced some symptoms, obviously, but I somehow oppressed them. I ignored them. I thought like, okay, it's different, my body's different reacting, but with my family, I was so motivated just to focus on my studies.
The extent to which the person is affected by psychosis varies greatly. Panic attacks often occur during periods of high stress and can be very frightening to the person experiencing them.
The pressure of the school, of the deadlines, I had to complete my assignments to a specific deadline. And I had this feeling, if I don't complete it to that time, then something bad will happen. A feeling of when you have like an asthma attack, it looks like you have an asthma attack, you breathe very fast. Your body system shuts completely down. You fall you feel like something is pushing you down, and that you are like almost like dying. It's really like terrible feeling.
And the other thing with mental illness is people don't understand it. They have no idea of the scope of mental illness, and things that people don't know about automatically makes them afraid of it.
The word psychotic is often used incorrectly to refer to people who are violent. Most people who are psychotic are not. There is potential for people who are psychotic to misinterpret other people's intentions as harmful or threatening.
I was suddenly scared of my own family, that when there was an argument or they raised their voice, I thought like they're going to hit me. And they obviously noticed that, and they got very upset because of that, because they didn't understood to that time why I'm doing this, why I'm scared of my own family, because I was not that, because I wasn't like this before.
Because at that time he was neglecting his appearance, we couldn't engage with him, and if you tried to explain, to him that I think something is seriously wrong, he will get a bit irritable with you. And so we weren't pushing. So at that time, we thought, no, all this hard work is not reaping the reward and we must admit we all got very, very demoralized at that time.
People are very afraid of people with mental illness. Unfortunately, the only mental illness we see in the news is when the odd as a psychiatric patient has stabbed somebody to death on a village green. Now, obviously, 99.9% of people with mental illness, the only violence they have is towards themselves.
People with PTSD who experience psychotic symptoms could be at greater risk of developing a number of additional problems, including suicidal thoughts.
It was just horrible, and I fought for 1 year about that. I did praying, I did because I'm Muslim, so I did prayers and I wear the headscarf and everything. But at the end, I just couldn't see any solution to my problem. So then I went to the woods, and there was a river. I tied my hands and my legs. I wanted to jump in the river, and then there were people seeing me, and they stopped me, and they said, no, we call the police now. And they called the police, and the police said, do you trust us? And I said, I don't know.
After Zubia's suicide attempt, she was taken to the hospital.
Tragically, some of the suicides that I've known in the 21 years, I don't believe they would have happened if the person had got the help immediately. But unfortunately, we triage people, but because there is such a shortage of psychologists, of psychiatrists, there are massive waiting lists.
Psychological treatments have been found to be effective in helping people cope with the psychotic symptoms. It was important to develop a healthy coping strategy to manage her depression at this stage.
When I felt very upset, I started to paint and let out all my pain in the painting. And I realized when I painted and when I finished the painting, I felt like the thing which was inside me, the feeling, was not on the painting, and it's not anymore in me anymore. This goes also for paintings which are beautiful. Like when I have a beautiful feeling and I paint something beautiful, it's suddenly on the painting and not inside me anymore. So this goes on both directions. So I actually like to paint them more when I am feeling sad or upset. So this feelings goes onto the painting and it's not in me anymore.
Recovering from mental illness can be terrifying and exhausting, both for the person diagnosed and their loved ones.
I can't tell you how challenging it could be. So you need evidence, you need to speak to the right people, and you don't back down, because for me, Jonas is my brother, but to the establishment, he is a number. And that's what I needed to focus on, that he's a number, NHS number, but as my brother, I can see the everyday setbacks that we were going through.
Many people have recovered from post-traumatic stress disorder and psychosis through treatment. Family support is a cornerstone for mental health sufferers during treatment and for the healing process.
First, my family. Without them, whether I would have got to the stage I am now, I don't know. But without them, I don't think I could have started the initial progress. And the staff I've had, including social workers.
Family love is so important. If you don't have a family who is loving and caring, or friends who believe you are loving and caring, then it's really difficult to get out of it.
Having to do family counselling helped us a lot. Although some things came out that was unexpected, but growing up, you take certain things for granted, but you don't know the effect it has on your other siblings. And during family counselling, we were able to address a lot of family issues that we've pushed under the carpet over the years, and I think that opened a way for us to be transparent with each other and to be able to say to my brother, this is what you're not engaging with the treatment, with the management care, this is the effect it's having on us as a family.
People with mental health issues should contact the doctor immediately if they feel, even if they feel just out of sorts, or they're starting to feel a little bit depressed, or they're starting to become a little bit paranoid about things. They should seek help immediately. But the other thing is, friends and family around them need to be aware of the symptoms of that person's illness, so they can actually take them to the doctor and explain what's happening. Because, you know, there are no end of people that just fall through the cracks and they lose their lives because they haven't been seen quickly enough, or they haven't been seen by the specialist they needed to see. There's a big difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist. And unfortunately, if they see the wrong one, it can take another 6 to 12 months to see the right professional.
10 years later, Jonas has completely transformed his life.
Personally speaking, at a certain period, I didn't think that would be possible. I didn't even think it would be possible to go shopping, let alone what I'm doing at the moment. And the challenge now, I think I've broken the backbone of it. But I thought whilst I was doing the voluntary work and the work concerned, I would relapse. But I'm actually enjoying what I'm doing now, and I think it has helped a lot.
Six months on, Zubia is still on treatment, but is making remarkable progress to recovery.
This experience, I think it made me a better person, because I can feel the pain of the world. I can feel when I see a homeless person, I give him money, give him food, because I feel like the pain of the world is my pain, because something bad happened to me, and now I see the pain of other people much more. I was already caring before, but now it's even more, it's more authentic, it's more real. I feel it in my heart.